The desert was silent to silent. No birds, no wind. Just heat rising from the cracked ground and the soft thud of tiny feet hiding behind rocks from atop the red cliffs. Elder Nai narrowed her black eyes and whispered, "Something fell from the sky." Below her, smoke curled up from a small crash site, metal twisted, glass shattered. The scent of burned fuel mixed with dry air. A ship had fallen, and inside it, a human. "Should we go down?" asked Kira, her voice barely louder than a breath. She was young, smaller than the rest, her skin pale blue and trembling. "What if it's a trap?" Elder Nai grunted. "Humans haven't been here for years. The last ones nearly killed us. Still, they had to check. If it was one of the sky pirates again, their hidden home was in danger. So they crept down. They found the man half buried in sand. One leg broken, a metal rod stuck through his arm. His armor was dented and smoking, blood dark reduced from a cut on his forehead. His face was strange, pale, rough-skinned, bearded. His eyes were closed. He looked weak, and yet somehow dangerous. "Should we leave him?" one of the warriors asked. "No," Nai said, her voice low. "We watch. If he moves, we vanish." The tribe stayed hidden for hours. The sun sank. Cold air crept in. But the man didn't move until the howlers came. From the dunes, 3 beasts appeared, tall, four-legged, with fangs like swords. Their long tongues tasted the air. They smelled blood, and they saw the human. The beasts ran forward. The tribe stayed still, frozen. Even the warriors knew better than to challenge howlers directly. But the human opened his eyes. He didn't scream. He didn't run. He reached to his belt, fingers trembling, and pulled out a small black sphere. He tapped it once. The sphere blinked, then exploded with a flash of light and sharp noise. The howlers yelped and scattered, running off into the night. And the human? He passed out again. Silence returned. But now it was different. The tribe stared. "He saved himself," Kira whispered. "And he saved us too." Elder Nai gave a long breath. "Bring him in." Their camp was hidden deep in the cliffs, protected by layers of natural rock and ancient camouflage tech. Only those who knew the paths could find it. The human, still unconscious, was laid in one of the cool shelters. The tribe gathered around, peering at him from behind curtains of woven leaf. Some whispered, others glared. Why help a human? Drek, the tribe's strongest warrior, growled. His voice rumbled like a boulder. "They kill, they destroy. This one is no different. He saved our young," Nai replied calmly. And he was alone. No radio, no signal, no backup. Something happened to him. He's still one of them. Maybe, but maybe not. Hours passed, night deepened. Then he woke up. He opened his eyes slowly, blinking against the dim firelight. He tried to move, but groaned in pain. His gaze shifted and saw her. Kira. The young alien girl was sitting nearby, holding a bowl of water in her tiny hands. Her big violet eyes locked onto his. "You're safe," she said softly. The human blinked. "Where am I?" She tilted her head. "You crashed. We saw." He sat up slightly, wincing. "My ship, broken, gone." He looked around. Stone walls, quiet shadows, alien eyes watching from a distance. "Am I a prisoner?" he asked. Kira frowned. "No, you're a guest, I think." The human gave a weak chuckle. "First time I've been a guest without shoes or weapons." "You had this," she said, showing the black sphere. He smiled. "Flash grenade. Scared those beasts off, didn't I?" "You saved us," she said. The human looked surprised. "You mean those creatures were after you too?" She nodded. We were watching you. We didn't know if you were bad. He leaned back against the wall. I'm not bad. Just lost. And very, very hungry. Kira smiled, then ran off. She returned moments later with a small bowl of warm root mash. It smelled odd, but the human didn't care. He ate like he hadn't tasted food in days. Elder Nai watched from afar. He speaks gently, she murmured to herself. His hands shake, but not in anger. His eyes, they carry pain. Beside her, Drek grunted. He is still human. Yes. She agreed, but not all monsters look the same. Not all friends come from peace. That night, the humans slept in their camp guard, watched, but not alone. He didn't know yet that he had just saved more than himself. He had saved a tribe's future, and soon. The tribe would want to repay him, but in a way no human would ever expect. Asterisk. The sun rose early on the red planet. Thin golden light spilled over the cliffs, shining on the hidden camp. Smoke curled from small fires. Alien children yawned and blinked. Warriors stretched, checked weapons, and went quiet again because the human was still here. Elias, that was his name. He sat near a fire. His broken leg wrapped in green cloth, a wooden crutch beside him. The tribe had fed him, given him a blanket, and even let him stay near the center of camp. But no one trusted him yet, especially not Drek. Watch him. Drek growled to the others. He's too calm. No human is that calm without a plan. He eats like us, Kira said softly. He eats. That's not trust. Drek's eyes narrowed as he watched Elias place a small metal box on the sand. Elias pressed a few buttons and the box hummed. A weak blue light blinked. What is that thing? Drek barked, stepping closer. Elias looked up, calm. Solar charger. Just powering my comband. You trying to signal someone? Bring more humans here. Elias shook his head. No signal out here. I just want to keep my band from dying. It has old logs, recordings of my ship, my crew. All gone now. Elias sighed. I didn't crash here to start a war. I was running. Drek folded his arms. From what? From everyone. Later that day, Elder Nai called Elias to the inner tent. He stepped inside carefully, using his crutch. The tent was made of thick red hides, cool and dim inside. The elder sat with incense burning beside her. The air smelled like sharp flowers and sand. You rest here, eat our food, she said. But trust is not free. I understand, Elias replied. You've shown me more kindness than I deserve. You saved one of our young, she said, looking into his eyes. That means something. Elias nodded. I didn't think. I just acted. That is the kind of thinking we respect. She leaned forward. If you truly mean peace, you must help us again. With what? Our defenses are weak. The sky beasts are returning. The sands grow restless. We have old weapons, but no one knows how to fix them. Elias smiled a little. I used to repair old mining tech back home. Maybe I can look. You will be watched. I'd expect nothing less. And so, Elias began helping. He limped from tent to tent, examining rusty machines and broken parts. He didn't complain. He didn't ask for payment. He just worked. Slowly, the tribe began to notice. Children followed him, giggling. Elders nodded when he passed. Even some of the warriors started talking to him. One small girl, Myra, ran up and gave him a carved stone. It's for protection, she said shyly. Elias blinked, then knelt. Thank you. She smiled, then whispered, You're nicer than you look. He laughed. I get that a lot. From the shadows, Drek watched, but this time, he didn't growl. One night, as Elias sat by the fire, fixing a melted energy coil. Kira joined him. "You don't talk about your world much," she said. "Not much to say," Elias answered. "Did you have a family?" He paused. "I did. A brother. He died then. I left Earth. Too many memories." Kira nodded. "You carry heavy things, but you walk like it doesn't hurt." "It always hurts," Elias said quietly. "But you keep walking anyway." The next morning, trouble came. Scouts returned from the outer dunes. Their faces were pale. Tracks 1 said, "Big ones, not beasts. Machines." Raiders Elder Nye stood. "How many? 3 walkers? At least 10 riders. All heading this way." The camp froze. Everyone turned to Elias. He stood slowly, gripping his crutch. "I can help," he said. "If I had more time, I could power your barriers. But I need tools. I need energy." Drek stepped forward. "We have a power cell buried under the cliff, old, unstable. You want to risk that?" Elias met his eyes. "I'll take the risk if you trust me to try." Drek stared at him for a long second, then nodded. Hours passed in tense silence. Elias and 2 warriors carried the cell to the shield hub. He worked fast, sweat on his brow, fingers coated in dust and wire. Children hid in shelters. Warriors sharpened blades. Mothers cried silently. Elias finally connected the last wire. The barrier hummed to life. A faint blue wall rose around the village. Flickering but strong, the tribe gasped. Some cried. The elder placed a hand on Elias's shoulder. "You do not owe us this," she whispered. Elias looked over the shield, watching the dark shapes of raiders far in the distance. "No," he said. "But I owe someone, and helping you feels like finally doing something right." Elder Nye nodded slowly, then said the words that would change everything. "You have saved us twice now, Elias. In our tradition, this cannot go without reward." Elias raised a brow. "What kind of reward?" She smiled faintly. "You'll see." But even she didn't know. What came next would not be a reward. It would be a bond, and it would change his life forever. The barrier flickered. Elias stood just outside the elder's tent, wiping sweat from his face with a dirty cloth. All around him, the tribe moved like ants in panic, checking weapons, storing food, preparing for an attack that might come at any moment. But the raiders didn't arrive that night. They didn't arrive the next night either. Instead, something else came. It began with the wind, a strange wind. Not hot like the usual desert breeze, but cold, bone-deep cold. And it carried with it a sound, a hum, faint, like an old engine buried deep underground. Elias felt it in his spine. So did the others. "What is that?" he asked, looking up at the night sky. The stars above shimmered, but something strange moved across them. A shadow, large, slow, silent. Elder Nye appeared beside him, wrapped in her ceremonial cloak. "It's begun," she whispered. "What has?" She turned to him, her expression heavy. "An old danger. One we haven't spoken of in many years." Back inside the council tent, the flames danced low. The elder sat across from Elias, while Drek and 2 other warriors stood silently near the entrance. Kira entered with a carved box. She opened it. Inside were old data chips, dusty, cracked, faded. Elias leaned forward. "That's Terran tech." Nye nodded. "Your kind didn't always bring war. Long ago, a small human team helped us survive a sickness. They left behind stories and warnings." She held up one chip. "We were told to watch the skies for a dark shape. A ship not from Earth, not from our world either. They called it the Collector." Elias frowned. "That sounds like a myth, is it?" Drek growled. It leaves no bodies, no footprints, only silence. Whole villages vanish in hours. Elias looked out the tent flap, toward the edge of the cliffs. What does it want? The elder answered. It doesn't want. It harvests. Life, technology, sometimes even sand itself. No one has ever stopped it. Elias leaned back, thinking hard. Then he asked, what happens when your barrier fails? Silence. That night, Elias couldn't sleep. He sat alone beside the fire, a crutch lying across his lap, watching sparks rise into the dark sky. Somewhere out there, the collector moved slowly. Unseen but not unfelt, Lioli sat beside him. She'd been quiet until now, ways watching from a distance. She was small like the others, but sharper. Her eyes were clever, her steps light. You're afraid? She said softly. Elias chuckled. You're not. Of course I am. But fear is like wind. It pushes you forward, or it pushes you back. Elias looked at her. Which way are you going? Lioli smiled faintly. I haven't decided. They sat quietly for a while. Then, she said, I saw how you fixed the energy coil. You're not just a soldier. I'm not a soldier at all, Elias said. I was a repair tech on a mining rig. My ship was attacked. I escaped in a pod and landed here. Oh, you protect a tribe. Elias shrugged. I just want to help. I don't know why. Maybe because I failed to protect my own. Lioli looked at him, her voice soft. Maybe this is your second chance. The next morning, a scream echoed through the cliffs. A scout came. Running blood on his face, eyes wide with horror. They're gone, he cried. The rock people, the ones to the west. Our camp is dust. Drek and other warriors rushed to the edge of the cliff. Elias followed, heart pounding. And there it was. Below the ridge, an entire settlement had vanished. Nothing left. No bones, no tents, no tools. Only smooth black ground. Like it had been. Melted, Lioli whispered beside him. It's already here. Elias clenched his jaw. We don't have much time. Back in camp, Elias worked without rest. He asked for scrap wires, lenses, batteries, anything the tribe could spare. He started building. Drek came and watched him, arms crossed. You think a few blinking lights will stop the sky death? Elias didn't look up. No, but maybe I can confuse it, blind it. Delay it long enough for your people to run, Drek growled. We don't run. Elias finally looked up. Then help me fight. Something changed in Drek's face. He reached down and handed Elias a power crystal. Use this. By nightfall, Elias had built a prototype. A series of old solar panels lined the cliff, feeding into a burst emitter. If it worked, it would send a blinding signal when triggered. Not a weapon, but a distraction. A signal flare for something that might not have eyes but maybe sensors. The elder stepped forward, her hand on Elias's shoulder. You've given us more than tools. You've given us time. He looked at her. We'll need more than time to survive this. She nodded. That is why. Tomorrow, the tribe must decide. Decide what? Whether to keep running or to give you our greatest bond. Elias blinked. What do you mean? But the elder only smiled and walked away, leaving Elias confused and Lioli standing quietly in the dark. Watching him, the sky above the desert had changed. Where stars once shone bright and clear, now they flickered behind thin gray clouds that moved against the wind. Strange lights blinked behind them, like eyes watching from far beyond. Inside the main tent, Elias sat across from Elder Nai once again. But this time, he wasn't alone. Lioli sat beside him. Her head was bowed, her fingers twisting the hem of her cloak. She didn't look afraid, but something in her eyes said she was thinking hard. Deciding something big. Elias still didn't know why he was here. The elder poured a drink into a carved stone bowl and handed it to Elias. He took it without question. "This is our moment of thanks," Nai said softly. "In our history, those who saved the tribe more than once. Never forgotten." "I'm not looking for reward," Elias said. "And yet," she replied, "you are owed one." He blinked. "What kind of reward are we talking about?" Nai smiled faintly. "You saved our children. You repaired our shield. You prepared us for what's coming. There is only one way our tribe knows to honor such a man." She stood and looked at Liali. Liali slowly rose to her feet. She was small compared to Elias, barely reaching his chest, but her posture was proud, her chin high. She stepped forward, took a breath, and spoke clearly. "I offer myself as your life bond." Elias blinked, stunned. "Wait, what?" The tent went silent. Lial kept her eyes on him. "I offer my loyalty, my protection, my name. I will share your shelter. I will fight beside you. I will not run." "You mean marriage?" Elias asked carefully. "In your words, yes. It is our deepest bond." Elias looked around, confused. "But I didn't ask for this." The elder stepped forward. "You earned it. She chooses this willingly, and we all support it." Elias looked at Liali again. Her expression was unreadable, strong, calm, but hiding something too. "I'm not like you," he said. "I'm human." "I know," she said. "I'm broken. I don't even know where I belong." She smiled gently. "Then maybe we build a place together." Later, Elias sat alone on the cliff's edge. The desert stretched far and wide. In the distance, that strange humming sound was returning. The collector was moving again. He didn't know what to feel. He hadn't come here for love. He hadn't come here to be anyone's protector. But somehow, in this strange land, these small alien people had started to trust him. And now one of them had offered her life to him. He didn't even know how to process that. Footsteps behind him. Lioli. She sat beside him without a word. They watched the horizon together. "You didn't have to say yes," he said. "I didn't. I said I offer." "You haven't answered yet?" He chuckled softly. "You're not like the others?" "No," she agreed. "I don't want to live by old rules. I want to choose my path. And I chose you." He looked at her. "But you don't even know me." "Watched you," she said. "You never complain. You help without asking. When the sky turned dark, you didn't run. That's all I need to know." He turned back to the desert. "I don't want to hurt you," he said quietly. "My life is full of shadows." "Then let me bring light," she whispered. The next morning, the ceremony was prepared. Tribe members dressed in robes made of stitched leaves and sun-dyed fabric. The camp was silent, tense, but hopeful. Elias stood before the tribe, unsure if this was real. Lile stepped forward, dressed in white robes tied with silver threads. Her dark blue skin shimmered in the early light. She was beautiful in a way Elias had never known, proud, and full of fire. The elder raised her hands. "Today, we bond a protector and a daughter. Not by force, not by law, but by choice." Extended her hand. Elias hesitated. Then, took it. The crowd let out a soft cheer. Drek watched from a distance, arms folded, but gave a slow nod for the first time since Elias had crashed here. He felt like he wasn't alone. He had a place. He had someone beside him. That night, the stars were gone again. But something else arrived. Screams from the scouts. Something's in the outer dunes. It's not the raiders, it's worse. Elias rushed out with Liali and Drek at the edge of the camp. Shadows moved tall, metallic, insect-like. Machines, but not human-made. The collector had arrived. Its scout's drones with glowing eyes and spider legs crawled across the sand like death itself. The barrier hummed, flickering. They had no more time. Elias turned to Liali, ready to fight. "Wife?" he asked. She smirked. "You always talk too much." And together, they charged into the dark. Screams echoed through the cliffs. The collector's scouts metal creatures with glowing red. Eyes and legs like blades were pouring into the outer dunes. They moved in silence, not walking, but gliding just above the sand, leaving no trail. Only fear. The tribe scrambled for weapons. Children cried. Elders prayed. And in the middle of it all, Elia stood beside Lioli, holding a plasma cutter in one hand and his old crutch in the other. His heart pounded, but his eyes were steady. He had chosen to stay, and now there was no turning back. Where are they going? Elias asked Drek, who was scanning the cliffs from a high ledge. "They're circling, not charging," Drek growled. "They're testing the shield." "They'll find a weakness," Elias said. "They always do." Liali touched his arm. "Then, we don't wait. We find them first." Elias turned. "You want to go out there?" She nodded. "If they scout, we scout back." Drek snorted. "You bonded with a crazy one." Elias smiled. "That's why she picked me." The three of them slipped out of the rear tunnel, using a narrow crack in the cliff to reach the outer ridge. From there, the view was terrifying. Hundreds of small machines crawled like insect spiders, snakes, things with too many legs. At the center stood something larger, floating above the sand round, dark, with hundreds of blinking lights. A collector drone leader. They moved with one mind. "They're searching," Elias whispered. "Looking for energy. For life to drain." He tapped his visor, switching to thermal. His breath caught. "They've already taken another camp." Just heat shadows, no living things left. Liali's voice trembled. They erased him. Drek's fists clenched. "We stopped them. Here." Elias opened his pouch. Inside were several blinking discs, his signal flares, charged and ready. He handed. "One to Liali and one to Drek. If you throw these close to their core, it'll overload their sensors for a few seconds. Just enough for our people to hit hard. And if it fails," Liali asked, "then we run and hope we don't die too quickly." She smirked. "Good plan." They moved like shadows, circling behind the machines. Drek tossed the first flare hump. Bright blue light exploded in the sand, and the machines twisted, confused. Liali dashed forward, blade in hand, and slashed at the smaller drones. Fast, graceful, deadly. She moved like she'd been born to fight. Elias covered her with his plasma cutter, burning down anything that got close. Drek grabbed a larger drone and crushed it with his bare hands. But then a scream. Leo was gone. Elias spun around. He saw her being dragged across the sand by a spider bot twice her size. Its legs stabbed at the ground, moving fast, too fast, Liali. He shouted without thinking. Elias ran. His leg throbbed. His lungs burned. But he chased her across the dunes. The bot pulled her toward the collector core. He had seconds. He pulled. His last flare threw it right into the core's eye. Boom! Light exploded. The bot froze. Elias leapt, grabbed Liali and rolled away as the drone twitched and collapsed. They tumbled across the sand, breathless. "You came for me, Lial?" we whispered. Elias held her close. "You're my bond, my life." "Of course I did." She touched his face. "You weren't a gift. You're a guardian." He smiled, blood on his lips. "Funny, I was going to say the same about you." Back at the camp, battle had begun. The tribe, now warned, was ready. The confusion Elias caused gave them the time they needed. Bows, slings, fire spears. Even old mining lasers powered by Elias's repaired systems. They struck hard and fast. The collector bots couldn't adapt quickly enough, and when Elias and Lyali returned to the cliffs limping, burned, bleeding, they carried with them the severed eye of the drone leader. The tribe cheered, not because they won, but because they had survived together. That night, the fires burned bright. The stars returned to the sky, and with them, laughter. And Song. Elias sat near the flames, his arm bandaged, his leg worse than before. But he smiled because Lyali sat beside him. She had a scar now across her shoulder, but wore it with pride. "You saved me," she whispered. "I think we saved each other." The elder approached, holding a small stone bowl. She offered it too. Elias, he drank. Then Lyali drank too. The tribe clapped. "What's this?" Elias asked, wiping his mouth. "The seal of bond," the elder smiled. "Now, you are truly one of us." Elias looked into Lyal's eyes. He had come to this world with nothing, and now he had everything. But the danger wasn't over yet, because far above the planet, a new light blinked in space. The real collector ship was still watching, and it had just marked him as a threat. Asterisk the next morning. The desert was quiet. Too quiet. Elias stood at the edge of the cliff, the wind brushing past his hair as he stared up at the pale sky. High above, something faint shimmered, a strange silver dot that hadn't been there before. "It's watching," he said softly. Beside him, Lyali stepped closer. Her eyes narrowed. "The collector," Ias nodded, "was just at scouts. That thing," he pointed to the silver dot, "is the real brain. And it's coming." Back at the camp, the tribe was cleaning up the battlefield. Smoke still rose from the broken machines. Drek shouted orders, trying to organize repairs. Kira and Mira helped distribute food, but the fear had returned. They all knew the worst wasn't over. Inside the repair tent, Elias worked fast. He took apart one of the deactivated drones and connected its parts to his makeshift energy pack. Sweat dripped from his brow. His hands moved with speed, but also a growing sense of urgency. The collector ship would descend soon, and when it did, no barrier would be enough. Lyali entered silently and sat beside him. "You've been working non-stop," she said. "I have too," Elias replied. "Once that ship is fully here, it will drain this entire region energy. Plants, water, US. We can't run." Elias shook his head. "It will chase whatever it senses. If we run, it follows. If we fight, maybe, just maybe, we distract it long enough to send a warning." Lye blinked. "A warning? To who?" "To anyone still listening out there in space. This planet may be forgotten, but I won't let this tribe vanish in silence." He looked at her really, looked hand frowned. "You're hiding something," he said. She tensed. "What do you mean? Your movements? Your breathing? You're slower today. You've been quiet since last night." Lee glanced away, then whispered, "I wasn't supposed to bond." Elias blinked. "What?" "I wasn't ready. My family told me to wait. The bond affects us differently, faster." "What do you mean affects?" She took his hand, placed it over her stomach. "I feel different now. My blood is warmer. My dreams are strange. You're changing something inside me." Elias's heart skipped. "You mean? Like a pregnancy? Maybe? Or maybe something more." "My body responds to yours. The ancient ones called it merge evolution. Your DNA might be doing something mine never expected." Elias sat back, stunned. "I didn't mean I chose this," she interrupted softly. "I still choose it. Whatever happens. I don't regret it." He nodded. slowly. "I just want to keep you safe, and I want to fight by your side," she whispered. That night, the collector descended. It didn't fall fast. It drifted slow and terrifying, like a god sliding down from the stars. It hovered above the cliffs, spinning in silence. Lights flickered across its surface, thousands of tiny red eyes scanning every rock. Every heartbeat, the air grew heavy. The fire pits dimmed. Even the barrier flickered. The tribe gathered around Elias and the elder. "This is it," he said. "We use what's left. Weapons, tech, anything we've got. We aim for the sensor top left quadrant. I'll guide you." Drek stepped forward, holding the biggest Wepena fusion cannon built from old mining drills. "You lead," he grunted. "We follow." Elias turned to Liali. "You're staying back." She raised an eyebrow. "No, I'm not. You said you're changing. You shouldn't be on the front lines." Lily looked him in the eyes. "Then let me decide what I do." With my own life, Elias hesitated, then nodded. Together, they led the charge. The battle was chaos. Energy blasts lit the night sky. Machines rained down from the collector ship, swarming across the sand like metal locusts. Elias fired from the ridge, his plasma rifle overheating. Liali moved beside him like a flash, slicing, spinning, dodging, never stopping. But the collector began draining the land. The sky darkened. The ground cracked, plants withered. Water turned to mist. Now, Elias shouted. Drek fired the fusion cannon straight into the collector's eye. Boom! Light exploded. Sparks rained down. The machine screamed a sound no one could hear, but everyone felt deep in their bones. The collector wavered, then fired back. A beam of pure white energy tore through the ridge. Elias jumped, shielding Liali with his body. They hit the ground hard. Smoke, dust, silence. When Elias woke, the dot was over. The collector had retreated, damaged, but alive, and Liali was lying beside him. She was breathing barely. He pulled her close, tears burning in his eyes. "Don't go," he whispered. "Please." She opened her eyes slowly. "I'm not going anywhere," she breathed. "You're stuck with me now." He laughed, then winced in pain. All around them, the tribe was gathering, cheering, crying, hugging. They had won. Not the war, but the night. And Elias had proven more than loyalty. He had become something far greater. A protector, a partner, a part of them. The dust had settled. The sky was blue again. And the collector was gone. For now, Elias sat at the edge of the healing tent, one arm in a sling, his ribs still sore from the final blast. But he didn't complain. He just watched. The tribe was rebuilding, stronger this time, smarter. Warriors trained with new tactics. Younglings carried water and tools. Laughter echoed again through the canyon paths. The fear had passed, and something new had taken its place. Hope. Inside the elder's tent, a quiet ceremony took place. Elias stood beside Lioli, his hand holding hers gently. She wore a soft robe, white, with blue threads, and, though her body was still healing, her eyes shone with strength. Elder Nai raised a carved staff. "Today, we name Elias not just a friend of our people," she said aloud, "but a part of us, by blood, by bond, by fire." The crowd of tribe members, big and small, bowed their heads. Drek stepped forward, holding a new symbol, a leather cord with a silver fang. He placed it around Eliza's neck. "Now," Drek said, grinning, "you finally look less like a guest and more like a warrior." "I'll take that as a compliment," Elias smirked. Then Nai turned to Liali. "And you, child, you brought him into our tribe. You stood at his side when death came. And now, you carry more than memory." Everyone went quiet. Lioli gently touched her stomach, Elias's eyes widened. "You're sure?" he whispered. She nodded. "The healers confirmed it this morning." He let out a slow breath. "Wow, you're not scared?" He laughed. "I've faced killer robots in Sky. Monsters. But yeah, this is scarier." They both laughed, tears quietly forming in their eyes. Days passed. Elias worked with the tribe's builders to dig deeper wells and place warning devices around the cliffs. He taught them how to use what remained of the drones, not for war, but for protection. He shared knowledge the tribe had never seen before, but he also learned from Lioli, from Drek, from Kira and Mira, about patience, about listening, about belonging. He no longer slept in the guest tent. He and Lioli had made a small home at the edge of the cliffs where wind was strong and stars shone brighter. Some nights they sat outside with hot tea, watching the sky together. "I think this planet saved me," Elias said once. Lioli rested her head on his shoulder. "You saved yourself. This place just gave you the chance." He smiled. Maybe she was right. One morning, a loud rumble shook the valley. Everyone ran out, ready for battle, but it wasn't the collector. It was a human ship, a small scout cruiser, shining silver and blue with earth markings on the side. Elias stood at the landing zone, watching the ramp lower. A man in uniform stepped out, blinking at the sun. "Elias Ward?" he asked, holding a data pad. Elias nodded. "That's me. You've been marked as missing for 2 Earth years. We picked up a distress signal sent from this sector. Was that you?" Elias blinked. "Yeah, I guess it finally got through." The officer stepped closer. "We're here to recover you. If you're ready to leave." Elias looked back at the cliffsat, the camp, at the children waving, at Drek sharpening a blade, and at Lioli, standing in the doorway of their home, her hand resting on her belly. "No," Elias said softly. The officer blinked. "Sorry, I'm not leaving," Elias said. "I belong here." The man glanced behind him. "Sir, I don't think you understand. You were lost. You can come back to Earth. You have rights. Compensation. I have a family," Elias said. The officer stared at him, then at Lioli. Slowly, he nodded. "Understood? Do you want to send a message back? Let someone know you're alive." Elias thought for a moment, then said, "Yeah. Tell them Elias Ward was found. But he's not lost anymore." That night, the stars lit up again. Elias stood at the highest point of the cliff, watching the human ship rise into the sky and vanish. He felt no regret, just peace. Lioli stepped beside him. "Do you ever think about going back?" she asked. He nodded. "Sometimes, but I already found everything I was searching for." She smiled and placed his hand over her stomach again. This time, he didn't tremble. Far above the planet, deep in space, something watched. The collector ship, damaged but not destroyed, recorded everything, and inside, its cold, dark heart. A new word had been carved into its database. Human unpredictable danger, high avoid unless ORDRD blinked once, then turned away. The planet was no longer just another target, because one man, one broken man who found love and purpose in a desert of nothing, had made it a home worth fighting for. And even machines knew better than to cross a man with nothing to lose and everything to protect.